Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Dennis. So today we're going to do a review of MSI's Mag B550 Tomahawk Max Wi-Fi. Now I did the Mag B550 without the Wi-Fi before. This is just a little bit different, but more importantly the reason I'm doing it is I want to do another AM4 build. I've done the AM5 before, in order to keep the prices down, because I usually wind up selling systems. The B550 is a little bit better in price, and X570's motherboards are actually very difficult to get nowadays unless you want to pay a whole lot for them. The prices have gone way up, and that's because they want you to use the AM5, of course. So before we get to buying new motherboards and stuff I don't need, because I still have AM4 memory, all that kind of good stuff. I've got a lot of products that'll work with this motherboard, so that's why I'm going to do it. So this will wind up being a build later on, but it'll be on the lower end price-wise, but still more than capable of doing everything I wanted to do. So let's do an unboxing, have a look at the motherboard, and we'll go from there. Okay, so this is a first look at it. So like I said, it's the AMD motherboard, Mag B550 Tomahawk Max Wi-Fi. So now the difference with when you get motherboards a little bit later on, they come Ryzen 5000 series ready. All right, they will be backward compatible. All right, so the Ryzen 3000 and 5000 series. All right, now it's not compatible with the Ryzen 5 3400G or the Ryzen 3 3200G processors. Just keep that in mind. It is an AM4 socket, PCIe 4.0 ready, graphics and NVMe only. Anyhow, let's get it out of the box, have a look at it, go over a lot more of the features, and show you all the stuff that makes this worth getting. All right, so just open this up, and first we'll get our motherboard out. I'm going to set that aside until after. The one thing I noticed when I got this is brand new, but this makes me think it's not. And I don't exactly know why that would be that dirty otherwise, if that's the way they're doing things these days. Anyhow, inside we've got our SATA cables, we've got our antenna for our Wi-Fi, we have our utility disk and drivers, which you want to go online and get the most up-to-date ones. Quick installation guide, and we got some stickers, camouflage stickers, kind of cool. And what else? We've got our M.2 screws, which you will likely need at some point. And MSI thanks you for choosing them. You got this code so you can register the product, but I actually don't tend to do that anymore. So if you want to go in and register a product for whatever reason, well, you're welcome to. This stand here, did in the previous video. Just keep in mind that it has a whole host of benefits, and I'll put that a link on the end of the video so you can go in and have a look at it. So the motherboard did come in an electrostatic discharge bag, or anti-static bag as some people refer to it. This is what it looks like. Nothing fancy, I guess, really. Seen one motherboard, you kind of seen them all, but just show you the back. And let's get on to this. So this, again, is very handy for reviewing motherboards. I got this, and I thought it would be handy, and it turns out it really is. So what do we want to talk about? So one of the things I'll point out is down here, I should just move this back a little, is right here. So you have an extended heatsink design to give you better performance and hopefully lower temperatures. It has Wi-Fi 6, right? So I'm actually just going to support that. It has Wi-Fi 6 on it here. Has a couple of little antennas that are going to go on there. It has Lightning Gen 4, all right, for your M.2 with up to 64 gigabyte per second bandwidth. Has Wi-Fi 6E, is what this actually was. All right. Has 2.4 gigabyte a second at the 6 gigahertz spectrum. And also includes Bluetooth 5.2. Okay. You also have your 2.5 gigabyte LAN, which I'll show you here in a little bit, to give you 2.5 times the bandwidth to compare with to standard gigabyte Ethernet. All right. You have your M.2 Shield Frozer, so that's better thermals, faster transfer speeds. Your Core Boost is gives you premium layout, fully digital power design, so that supports more cores and results in better performance. You have your DDR4, which has DDR4 Boost to give you a better memory signal. I don't know why they put that on there as a feature. Honestly, your memory, it's just your memory. It has different speeds, and yes, maybe that makes it work a little bit better. I don't know. You tell me, have you experienced with your memory slots that it makes a whole lot of difference? I really have not. I've had different speeds, and I couldn't tell you the differences. It's so minute, I don't think it makes that much difference. Yes, if you're overclocking, okay, that's going to come into it there, obviously. And like a lot of things today, it has Frozer AI cooling. All right, so it's going to detect your CPU and GPU temperatures and automatically adjust your fans to give a proper value. So I'm really surprised how that's going to work. But with AI making so many strides today, knowing that that's an actual feature that can help you to get better temperatures, which means better performance, that's pretty good. But let's actually go over some more things that I want to talk on. So, of course, this is your AM4 socket, all right, which comes 5000 series ready and 5000 G series, all right. It'll also support 4000 G series and 3000 series desktop processors. It has the AMD B550 chipset. You have the one PCIe 4.0 times 16 slot and a PCIe 3.0 times 16 slot. Now, they always say it's got crossfire technology support. Well, that's good, but I don't know anybody that really takes much advantage of that. Supports 4K at 60 Hertz, the HDMI 2.1 standard, and DisplayPort 1.4. So if you're looking for those extra little features that you may not have gotten with an earlier B550 motherboard, they're there. Okay, and it requires processor graphics for audio. So obviously you're going to have audio. You have 4 DIMMs which support your memory here. DDR4 5100 overclocked. So that's a step up from some of the previous ones I've had earlier. Now you have your one M.2 slot here, which I said is times 4, 64 gigabyte per second. So here you have your second one, which is right here. And the second one is a Gen 3 times 4, 32 gigabyte a second slot. And of course, then you have 6 gigabyte SATA ports, which are right up here. So the nice thing about this turntable is I can turn it around and show you. Right, so we have our 6 SATA ports. We have USB Type-C on board. You have your 24 pin for power. You have a fan and another fan here. So, and this of course is an ATX motherboard. Okay, so moving over to this side of the motherboard, you have your audio, so JAUD1, JBD1, your RGB1, which basically this is just your regular RGB with 4 slots. If it was 3 pins, you would have addressable RGB. All right, JDP1, system fan here, and your LED switch. So a lot of people ask me, can I turn the LED or RGB off? Yes, right there. And if you want all your RGB off, well, then you have to go into your software. It's another system fan, USB, another USB. And then you have your USB 3. Okay, so right here, you have another jumper here and jumper here. So this is where you're going to plug in all your cables from your case and all that kind of stuff. And in case you're looking for it, J rainbow, which is your 3-pin I was talking about a second ago. And these 3 pins means that this is addressable RGB. And then another system fan here. So you've got your RGB, your addressable RGB. So no matter what kind of device you're using, you have a place to plug it in. All right. So let's move on to one of the other sides here. So this is what would be the back of your motherboard. So you start here. You have your BIOS flashback button. All right. You have 2 USB 2.0 or Type A ports. You have HDMI and DisplayPort. You have 2 USB 3.2 Gen 1 5 gigabyte per second Type A ports. You have your 2.5 gigabyte LAN. Over here you have your USB 3.2 Gen 2 10 gigabyte a second Type A. And down here you have your USB 3.2 Gen 2 10 gigabyte a second Type C. Alright. You have your 2 Wi-Fi, which I said before was Wi-Fi 6E along with Bluetooth. And then you have all your speakers here, starting with the top. You have your CS out, your line in, your RS out, your line out, basically your optical SPIF, and your mic. All right, that covers pretty much everything in terms of your I/O. Okay, on this side of the motherboard, you have your 8-pin for power. There is no like extra for overclocking, so this is all you got. You have your another heat shield. You have your CPU fan connector here. This is a system fan or an optional, as they sometimes will call it. But your pump or fan, so that can go in there. And then, of course, another addressable RGB. And then tucked down here, of course, I think I mentioned those before, is 2 more fan headers. It uses Realtek 8125B for those that are really interested in it. Again, that's at the 2.5 gigabytes LAN. Anyway, so that's your LAN that was on the back. I mentioned it was 2.5 gig, but I just wanted to give you the breakdown because some people use that number. What they use it for, I honestly don't know. I don't use it for anything like that. Let's move on to the one last side. So I did show most of the sides, but I wanted to show you the back of the motherboard. So you can see where all your traces are for your audio. All right, going up all over here. This is, of course, is referred to as your backplate for those that don't know that. And nothing else here. There's no M.2s or anything on the back, just in case you were wondering. Okay, so that might be the most simplistic review of a motherboard I've ever done. I will point out a couple things. Sometimes if you're using stock coolers, you will use these brackets. Otherwise, if you're not, you take them off. 2 screws here, 2 screws here. They come off. Backplate's going to go off. You may, in a lot of cases, you'll wind up using that backplate, so don't forget about that. You ever want to reset your CMOS? There's lots of ways of, well, there's a few ways of doing it. One of them, of course, the easiest way is just pop this in here, pop the battery out, wait about half a minute, pop it back in, and you should be good to go. All right. Some of these jumpers are actually CMOS jumpers, or pins, I should say. And if you have a jumper, you put it over the right set of pins, and you can jumper the CMOS or change your CMOS that way and reset it. So don't do that unless you look it up. Find the manual online because they don't provide it anymore. Might be on the DVD, I'm not really sure. And once you know the exact place and what pins you have to push the jumper down onto, which of course you're going to have to get a jumper. I don't think there's actually any on this motherboard that you can actually use. Nope, I don't see any, so you will have to get one. They're fairly easy to find. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, well then don't even worry about it, just do the battery thing. And one last thing just to mention in case you didn't catch that already, AM4 means it's an AMD motherboard, not Intel. So that's just something you should know about. Okay? Obviously, if you're buying it, you'll see on the box AMD motherboard has a little TomaHawk on it, just to spice it up a little bit so you can see it. So, anyhow, you can see it right there. All right, everybody. So that's a quick unboxing, review, kind of an overview of the motherboard, real quick, as quick as I can make it. Giving you some of the specs. As much as I could kind of give you to help you out with that. As I said, it's an AM4 motherboard. That's the important thing to know. So if you're buying a CPU cooler, most of them will fit AM4 and AM5 CPUs these days. So if you like the video, hit that like. If you're new here, think about subscribing. Hit that bell for notifications for videos as they come up in the future. And as always, thanks for watching. If you have comments, put it down below. I'll get back to you as best I can to answer any questions. Thanks for watching.